Hello again. So I got this holiday brunch coming up, and one of my neighbors that I expect to be there has celiac disease. Also have a sister who has celiac disease, which means you're not tolerant to gluten. So I was looking for some gluten-free recipes for this brunch, and I came across a recipe on the PBS website for gluten-free, wheat-free peanut butter cookies, which are really simple. Peanut butter, sugar, an egg, and vanilla extract, and that's all there is to it. And I was thinking, well, gee, I don't really like sugar, which is to say that I like sugar way too much, so I try not to eat it. And I've had good experience in the past replacing sugar with dates or apples or whatever. These are the dates that I use. I get these up at Sam's in giant 2.5 pound bags. So I thought, well, so I could use dates instead of sugar, and I thought, well, how much sugar is in the original recipe, and then what would I want to cut that down to? And I thought, well, how about I'll cut it to 40% of what's in the original recipe, and I picked that number because the math works out easy. And yes, I'm sorry, this does involve math. So the original recipe is a cup of peanut butter plus a cup of sugar. So a cup of sugar is 16 tablespoons. A tablespoon of sugar is 12 grams of sugar. I know that because I weighed it on my food scale. So 12 grams of sugar in a tablespoon times 16 tablespoons is 192 grams of sugar in a cup of sugar. So we want to cut that down. So 40% of 192 is, I want to say 78 grams. I actually calculated this, let me see. 76.8 grams. So we want to cut it down to 76.8 grams of sugar. That's 40% of the original recipe. And we want to do that by using dates. So if I look on my nutrition facts for my dates, I see that one serving of 6 or 7 dates, which is 40 grams worth of dates, has 25 grams worth of sugar in it. So 25 grams of sugar per 40 grams of dates, that means dates are 5/8 sugar. So if I want to figure out how many dates I need to get 76.8 grams of sugar, I multiply 76.8 times 8/5, and that comes out to 123-ish grams of dates, which is very close to 3 servings of dates. And I found that everything is easier if you do things in terms of servings because of the nutritional information. So, cup of peanut butter, 123 grams of dates, which is roughly 18 or 20 dates. But we're going to weigh them, so we'll be exact. And then I like coconut. I made other things with dates and coconut. What I really like is this coconut. This is called Let's Do Organic, 100% organic, unsweetened coconut flakes. That's the great thing about this stuff, is it's not sweetened and it has no sulfites or any other nasty things in it. It's just flaked coconut. So if I look at this, one serving is 3 tablespoons, which is 15 grams. each serving has less than 1 gram of sugar, so we're going to use 3 servings of this, which would be 45 grams of coconut, so less than 3 grams of sugar, so we'll call that negligible. Then we're going to need a couple of eggs, and it occurs to me all of a sudden that I only have 1 egg left because I made some peanut butter cookies already, and they're really quite good. Not super sweet as you'd expect, but still good. So, so I guess I'll be making a half batch. So everything I just told you divided by 2. I call these paleo peanut butter cookies. Just to be an ass. They're technically not paleo because in the paleo diet you don't eat legumes, and peanuts are a legume, and presumably you don't eat legumes because they have to be cooked, and cavemen didn't know how to cook, which I think is demonstrably false. If that was the case, then you have to ask, well, if you're on a paleo diet, why do you cook your meat if cavemen can't cook? So, anyway, and the other thing is, alright, paleo diet, I understand all that. Eat what the cavemen ate because that's how your body evolved and it's good for you and so forth. But, go to the grocery store, buy an apple. This is not what cavemen ate. They ate something that looked like an apple, that was like an apple, but it wasn't this kind of apple. This is a result of 10,000 years of selective breeding. Cavemen didn't eat Hereford cows. They ate something that looked like a cow, but it wasn't what you buy in the grocery store. They didn't eat big fat chickens. They ate some kind of bird, but it wasn't a chicken. So just keep that in mind. Everything that we eat today is a result of 10,000 years at least of selective breeding. It's not what cavemen eat. So what we're going to do is get that egg. And remember that we'd actually be using 2 eggs. And we're going to put that in the food processor. And then we're going to need 123 grams of dates. So we're going to take half of that, so that would be, 61.5 grams of dates. And I'm going to use my little jar of already open dates. If you don't have a food scale, they're totally worth having. If you're at all tracking the food that you eat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's about right. About a serving and a half of dates. Remember, this would be twice this in a real recipe if I hadn't already used all my eggs. Vanilla. I'm going to go ahead and put in vanilla. You would use a teaspoon of vanilla. Of course, I'll use half of that. This is my homemade vanilla extract, vanilla rum extract. If you've never made your own vanilla, you really should. It's really good. Okay, so I've stirred my peanut butter. If you're really serious about stirring peanut butter, there's only one good way to do it, and that's to take it and you can pop it in the microwave for a little while just to heat it up a little bit, then pour it into a bowl and then stir it all up and then put it back in the jar and then put it in the refrigerator. Stirring peanut butter is a pain, but it's the price we pay for having peanut butter that just has peanuts in it. Anyway, so I have my half a cup of peanut butter. And remember, this would be a whole cup of peanut butter if we were doing a whole batch of these. And that actually worked amazingly well. The first batch where I was using a whole cup of peanut butter, the dates didn't want to chop up very well. These are good dates, but they're a little bit dry. You know, if you buy like medjool dates, fresher dates, they'll have a little more liquid in them, and they'll grind up a little bit easier. Or you can always take these and soak them in something like fruit juice or whiskey or some such thing. Okay, so we've got everything in there now except for our coconut. Now, a full batch you would use 45 grams of coconut, which is 9 tablespoons. But we're going to do half of that, so 22 and a half grams of coconut, which is right about a half a cup. 45 grams is right about a cup. Who is calling? Okay, another math question on the phone. What was I doing? Oh, okay, so coconut in the processor. If you do any kind of Thai cooking or Indian cooking, you really want the unsweetened coconut. And actually, like most things, I actually think the unsweetened tastes better than the sweetened coconut that's kind of sickeningly sweet. But anyway, so you take your dough. And what I like to do is put it on a paper plate. And then just kind of form it into a block, sort of a stick of butter shaped block. And remember, it'll be twice this big. And then once you have it into a nice uniform rectangular block, through the magic of geometry, we can divide this into 4 chunks long ways and then divide each of those in half, so we get 8 pretty evenly sized cookies, and of course it would be 16 in the whole recipe. Although there's nothing wrong with making a half a batch of cookies and squish the tops down, because they're not peanut butter cookies if they don't have the tops squished down. And then those will bake at 350 degrees for 12 minutes. And when they come out of the oven, just let them sit on the cookie sheet for 2 minutes and then transfer them to a thing, rack, cooling rack, and let them cool off. So, to recap, a cup of natural unsalted peanut butter, which is made from nothing but peanuts, 2 eggs, a cup of unsweetened coconut flakes, 45 grams, 123 grams worth of dates, if they happen to be this particular kind of date. You're trying to get about 77 grams worth of sugar worth of dates. You don't have to be that specific, but that's the way some of us are. And like I said, that's 18 to 20 dates, 123 grams worth. So, and a teaspoon of vanilla. Put all those in the processor. Make 16 cookies. I like 16 cookies because that way each cookie has 1 tablespoon of peanut butter in it. That makes it easy to do the calculations. And what you will end up with is a cookie that has 159 calories in it, 9 carbs, 10 grams of fat, 5 grams of protein, 10 grams of sodium, which surprisingly comes off from the eggs, and only 5 grams of sugar, which is about a teaspoon of sugar equivalent. So, they're really pretty good. They'd be fantastic with a nice hot tea or coffee. And if a caveman had a stick and could dig up a root and could find a peanut and could throw it in the fire, and had a way to get to an island and get a coconut and crack open a coconut and shred coconut, and had chickens to get eggs from, and had access to sugar cane so he could make grain alcohol, and vanilla beans so he could make vanilla extract, this is what a caveman would be eating. Paleo peanut butter cookies.